Alright, I'm recording. Here we go. Let's fill in this page here. This is all the quadrilaterals that you must know or identify. There are some properties. At the very top here, quadrilaterals is a four-sided shape. Triangles is a three-sided shape. Pentagons is a five-sided shape. Hexagons are six-sided shape, and etc. Right? So this is all under the category of, starting with P. Anyone know? Because quadrilaterals is a part of something. Polygon. Very good. Write that down. So polygons, quadrilaterals, one of them. Quadrilateral specifically is four-sided shape. So make sure to write polygons right there on the top. Let's go to the left side here. So we'll start off from the very left. Copy these notes down. Thank you. Don't stare at your screen. When you have no pairs of parallel lines available in a four-sided shape, it might be, not always, but it might be a kite. Very good. Now, kite has a couple of special properties here. So, one, you can see that in a kite, one, it has no pair of parallel lines, but not only that. Do you notice that there's one dash on this line and there's also one dash on this line? Those two side lengths are equivalent. Those two side lengths, Edison. Thank you. It's over here, just on the board, not out the window, like literally right here in front of you. Do you want to be outside instead? You got it out of your system? All right, let's start. That was the best thing ever, wasn't it? Waved at your friend. Pardon? It was the best thing ever. Yeah. Good. Let me know if you have another friend you want to wave at. All right, so kite, up on the screen, which is up here. You got no pairs of parallel lines. Another thing to note is that the two side lengths, whilst they're equal, what you might not realize is that with rectangles, for example, the side lengths that are equal tend to be opposites to one another. Can you see how the top line is equal to the bottom line, but they're on opposite ends? Same thing with this one. These two left and right hand sides are equal, but they're on opposite ends. Kite is the only one of all the four-sided shapes where the equal sides are right next to each other. Okay, so if you have a look at the bottom, these two sides are equal and they're not opposites, they're right next to each other. So there's a special name for it. They say when two sides next to each other are equal, that is a hint, it's a kite. The word next to, there's a special word for it starting with A. Anyone know? Very good. Adjacent. So one of the properties of a kite is that the adjacent sides are equal. Okay, so write that down. So adjacent sides are equal, whereas if you look at all the other quadrilaterals that you're familiar with, often it's the opposite sides that are equal. Another property that can give you a hint that it's a kite is that because you have one side that has only one length that is equal to another side on the opposite side, and then this one is also equal, can you see there's actually a line that kind of cuts the shape in half and it becomes symmetrical? Whatever's on the left is on the right. It's actually symmetrical. So because it's symmetrical, that also means that this angle here, that obtuse angle that you see, those two angles are equal. Okay, and that's very specific. There's only two in that kite that is actually equal to each other. The other two aren't. These top and bottom do not equal to each other. So when you see a kite, you have to kind of find where that symmetry is to figure out where that angle is. Okay, so two of these angles here, I'm just going to write here angles, one opposite angle is equal. Key properties. Okay. Next shape. A trapezium is a bit easier to remember. All you have to find, so kite has no pairs of parallel lines. A trapezium has one pair of parallel lines. Boys, can I have you closing your laptop? Because whatever you guys are doing, it's not taking notes and not actively listening. So I want those laptops down, thank you. And if I still see it open up again, bring it up here.
I'm doing my homework.
I want you to do this. Okay, because you can do your homework at home or you can do your homework after I finish. And it'll take about 20 minutes. So you have then 50 minutes to do your homework. Okay? All right, here we go. One opposite angle. So we're onto trapeziums. It has one, write this down, one pair of parallel lines. So you can see in that shape that there's two possible ways of drawing a trapezium, and it literally is when you only have one pair of parallel lines. Kite has no parallel lines, trapezium only has one, and the other ones that you're familiar with, like a rectangle, a square, or a parallelogram or rhombus, they all have two pairs of parallel lines. Only a trapezium has one. Okay, so only one pair. Once you have one pair, it's a four-sided shape, it's a trapezium. Cool? Let's have a look at the two pairs now. These are the ones you might be familiar with. So we know rectangle. So fill this in. We know a rectangle. We know a square. So we've got a rectangle, we've got a square. Rectangle, square. These ones we know from primary school. What about the shape up here that kind of looks like a rectangle but is not 90 degrees? What is that called? Yes.
Parallelogram.
Parallelogram. Do you know how to spell it?
P-A-R-A-L-L-E-L O-G-R-A-M.
Very good. So it's like parallel. So you know how to spell parallel. It literally has the word parallel there. And then ogram. Ogram. So when you pronounce it, parallelogram. Okay, parallelogram. Yeah? Parallelogram. Parallelogram. It's parallelogram. Okay, so parallelogram. What makes it special? Again, same thing. It is like a rectangle. It has two pairs of parallel lines. We can see one pair up here and then two pairs left and right. Thank you. Don't speak while I'm speaking. So you got two pairs. All of these have two pairs, but they're all slightly different from one another. These ones have two opposite sides that are equal. This one has two opposite sides that are equal. So I'll use one dash, one dash, one dash. Okay, so this is yellow and that's yellow. So two pairs of parallel lines and two opposite sides that are equivalent, and it's not 90 degrees. So I'm going to write here not 90 degrees for the angles. Whereas a rectangle has exactly the same as a parallelogram, except it will have 90 degrees. What about the shape that looks like a square but does not have 90 degrees? That means that all sides are going to be equal. So put in the dashes. What is that one called? Yes, Elliot. It is not a diamond. Diamond is actually another version of a kite. So you can call a kite a diamond. What is this? Starts with R. Will?
It's a rhombus.
Rhombus. Do you know how to spell it?
R-H-O-M-B-O-B-U-S.
Very good. Rhombus. Rhombus has, again, same thing, two parallel lines again. Two parallel lines. And four equal sides. But not 90 degrees. Okay, so there are 7 shapes in total to help you understand. Sully, if you're not using that laptop appropriately, you're going to close that too. Thank you. So we've got a rhombus, square, rectangle, parallelogram, trapezium, and kite. I've already drawn a diagram for you so that you don't have to draw the shapes, but I've organized it so that it's easier for you to remember. 0 parallel lines, 1 pair of parallel line, 2 pairs of parallel line, 90 degrees, not 90, not 90. Okay, so it kind of helps you to be able to distinguish them. Because the shapes that you're going to do in exercise 2D, you have to be able to distinguish them to then know the properties and then solve. Now, one of the key exercises which is due at the end of this week to help you solve these problems is exercise 2B. So if you haven't done 2B, then doing 2D would be a bit tricky. What was 2B about again? What do we do in exercise 2B? What was 2b? Sully? Very good. You need to remember your parallel line properties. Now there are 4 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. What were the 4 properties again? Name me one of them, Kyle. We have co-interior. Name me another one. Let's go, Ava. Corresponding. Name me another one. Let's go, Bo. Alternate. And the last one is what? Let's go with Tom. Vertically opposite. These are the properties that will help you solve some of these questions. And notice they all have parallel lines here. Okay, so the 2 pairs of parallel lines, or even a trapezium, has a parallel line, and that's your transversal line there. So what you can already see in a trapezium, if you didn't notice, these 2 lines are parallel. This is your transversal line. That means these 2 angles are what? What are these 2 angles? Co-interior. And what do we know about co-interior? They're supplementary. They add up to 180. So whatever this angle is, they both add up to 180 degrees. That's one of the key things that helps you solve these problems. That's why this is 90 and this is 90, because 90 plus 90 has to be 180. They're co-interior. Okay? And then if you have 2 pairs of parallel lines, that makes it even easier. So if these 2 are parallel, that means this angle A, angle B, they're both co-interior, so they add up to 180. But not only that, these 2 yellow lines are parallel as well. So that means if I had an angle C here, A and C are also co-interior. So that means A plus C has to equal to 180. So those who can actually see those parallel lines will then be able to see co-interior, and that's where it helps you solve these kind of problems. Okay? Let's turn over the page. We're going to do some problems together. Turn over the page. Here we go. So you got your 7 types, and you can identify them just based on the number of parallel lines you have. Out of curiosity, all the angles in a quadrilateral must add up to what? Yes, Kyle. 360 degrees. Because we know that a triangle is 180, and if you think about any 4-sided shape, you can cut it in half, and you end up with 2 triangles. And if you end up with 2 triangles, that means the total angles, if you add them all together, 180 plus another 180 has to give you 360. Okay, that's why we know 4-sided shapes has to add up total to give you 360. So that means this question here is easy to solve. Let's do it. Elliot, what does this corner of the box mean? Yep, what's the degrees then? 90, very good. So this is 90 degrees. Now this is a 4-sided shape. I've got 90 for this corner. I've got 100 for this corner. I've got 100 for this corner. And I don't know what this corner is, but I know that if I add them all together, 90 plus the 100 plus the 100 plus this random angle that I don't know, I know it has to add up to 360. Let's work it out. What is 90 plus 100? Can I please have, 90 plus 100? 190, but then you're going to add another 100 to it. What's 190 plus 100? Can I please have Ashwin? 190 plus 100. 290. So this now becomes 290 plus what? Will equal to 360. We have to figure out what number do you add to 290 to make 360? Yes, Sully? 70. Now, if you didn't know that, you could actually, instead of adding, you could have worked out A is equal to 360, take away 290, and you'd get, 70. Okay? All right. Let's have a look at part B now. So hopefully you were listening to what I was saying about the parallel lines. You see this shape? What type of shape do I have here? What shape is it? It's a trapezium. What's the hint? 1 set of parallel lines, not 2. So once you have 1 pair of parallel lines or 1 set, that's a trapezium. But as soon as you see a trapezium, there are parallel properties. What do we know about A and 70? What's special about A and 70? They are co-interior, supplementary. So if this is 70, what must A be? 110. Very good. Bo, can we please wear our clothes properly? I just got a bit confused as I was staring at you. All right, next one. Since these 2 are not parallel, that's why these 2 aren't co-interior. So 110, 125 cannot be supplementary. But we can solve for B. How do we solve for B over here? What's B? Yes, Solly again.
Because it's B is colon 0 to 125, you just do 180 minus 125, which is 55.
Beautiful. 180 minus 125 because they are co-interior again. That's the transversal line right there. And so that's why B and 125 are co-interior. So they have to add up to 180. So what's the answer? 125 plus what gives you 180? Oh, 55. That is correct. 55 degrees. Okay, so I'm using parallel properties and most of it is co-interior. Some of it will be vertically opposite somewhere as well. Okay, let's flip down to the last two examples for you so we can see trapezium. Your aim is to find parallel lines. If there aren't any, then they're not parallel. So for example, these two, that one is not parallel. So you can't assume that these two are parallel. It doesn't have any symbols for it. So when they don't have symbols, they're not parallel. You can't say they're co-interior. But what we do know, this is four-sided shape. 1, 2, 3, 4. All the angles in a four-sided shape must add up to what again? 360 degrees. Very good. So over here, Elliot told us before those right angles is 90. So together I've got 62 plus 90 plus 97 plus this random angle that I don't know has to equal to 360. Let's take our time. What is 62 plus 90? Who wants to have a go? Hands up. Kyle. 152. That is correct. 152 plus now 97. What does that equal to? Who wants to give a go? Someone else. Lucas, you want to have a go? That is correct. 249. Now the question is 249 plus what to give you 360? Good. 360 minus 149, which is what? 249, sorry. Yep. What does that give you? Very good. 111. Now, the question wasn't asking for this corner that's 111. The question was asking for A. Very good, because this is supplementary. It's a straight line. So A will be equivalent to 180 minus 111. Can't be 89.
Oh, sorry. I was thinking behind. That's your
Should be 69. Very good. All right, last example for today. Last example. D. There's a lot of parallel lines here. You're trying to find A. But one of the things I know is if I can find out this corner, that's vertically opposite to one another. Yeah? So that means this must be A. But then can you see A and 106? They are supplementary or co-interior. They're co-interior because these two are parallel lines. And therefore these two angles are inside the parallel lines. They must add up to 180. What must A equal to? 74. Very good. Okay, so this must be 74 degrees, and that must mean this is 74 degrees as well. Okay, that's what today's lesson is. If you are up to 2D, but I don't want it, it's not by the end of this weekend. What is due? 2B. 2B. I only want 2B. Okay, I'll give you 2 weeks for 2B, 2 weeks for 2A. Plenty of time. It's minimum 200 minutes. Okay, because 100 minutes per week, and you've got 2 weeks, that's 200 minutes to do something that takes about 30 to 45 minutes. Okay, you guys can do fluency in 30 to 45 minutes. Plenty of time in class, and then you've got time at home that you could do as well. So I do expect 2A, 2B, and if it's not there, well then, student-led conference, you've got some explanations to do about learning behaviors. I'm going to stop the video, and then I'll come around and help.